I need to stop and smell the roses once in a while.
They literally made fun of me for that the other day when
Cool.
we were volunteering for Polly's Run.
Polly's Run, which
Yeah.
is a fundraiser for pancreatic cancer research. They made fun of you because you stopped
We
and
were
smelled the
going
roses?
to our volunteer station and we're walking down the street and there were all these beautiful roses and I'm like, so I stopped and they just started laughing. They're like, "Are you literally stopping to smell the roses right now?"
Smile with your eyes. That's how my cat looks at me every day.
Are we doing this again? We're just gonna do another day then.
Why are you harassing me? That's what my cat says. Okay, we're gonna have a fun one today.
Should we?
Because today's episode's called.
Are we doing this? Are we not?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's called fun.
Fun. The importance of fun.
The importance of fun.
funsies. Yeah, for success. Funsies for success.
Let's take a second, though, and talk about how fun this podcast has been.
All right.
In terms of putting it together, in terms of changing the set, in terms of recording it with Justin, who walks around here and judges us whenever we're... No, he's not judging us.
What you're doing? Thought you were checking the frame, man. Jeez.
We have so much fun putting this podcast together. So thanks, as always, for making this so much fun.
And to you.
Yeah, I'm here for emotional support. That's it.
Do I seem unhinged?
No. For everybody that listens to us, we've had some pretty incredible comments, right?
Yeah.
We had somebody that commented and said, like, I heard what you said. I'm listening to it, which was phenomenal.
Putting it into practice.
Putting it into practice.
Which is fun.
There's some other person that said, I didn't know you were like that.
No, that was a good point, right? Like they see you being successful and the outward component of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, by the way, there's also stress and fear and tears, and also all of that. And then they're like, wait, what? You're a whole person?
Yeah.
But
You have
when?
emotions?
But since when? Because when I saw you on that magazine cover, you just looked like everything was going great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so I think outwardly, I have been very vocal about the amount of fun I like to have.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't a surprising topic. I'm
No.
glad that we're talking about it now, though.
Yeah.
Instead of later. What is the definition of fun? What's the importance of fun in terms of success?
And I'll just note, you say, this isn't a surprising topic for us to discuss because we're such big fans of fun. Mm-hmm. However, it is going to be a surprising topic for a lot of people with regard to success. Fun is one of the key elements of success that's often left out of the conversation.
100%.
So if you're like, I'm going to skip this episode, it's just about fun, I'm over here trying to grow my empire, whatever. No. Stick around. Fun is equally as important as all of the work and the teams and the mentors and the relationships and the hard times and the finances and all of it. Equally important.
So we talk about our finance manager, Ed, once in a while.
We do.
And him and I had a really good conversation, a management conversation, grounding conversation, just catching up today. And he says, I never work a day in my life.
Like changing the payroll.
And I said, okay, that makes sense. So when you hear that phrase,
Yeah.
never work a day in your life, you will never work a day in your life if you're having fun with what you're doing.
If you love what you do.
If you love what you do.
Uh-huh.
Tell me your thoughts on that phrase. It's commonly overused for us entrepreneurs.
Yes. And I think it sets up an unrealistic ideal. Because there are things that, I love doing this. We talked about it. I think this is super fun. Let me walk into a room, let some shit come out of my mouth, and if people like it, great. And, I just get to be me. Boom. That's all I wanted. That's fantastic. Great. Super fun, right? Get to interact with someone fun and learn. I love it. And then, as a producer, I have to go create title card. Justin does a title card, but the titles and the description and go put it on the channels and all of that stuff. That's not very fun for me. Mm-hmm. I don't super enjoy that part of it. And so when it's like, oh, if you do what you love, then you'll never work a day in your life. And it's like, yeah, but oftentimes the things that we love to do or that are really fun have all this surrounding stuff that's very unsexy. He likes paperwork. So for him, that probably is fun. For me, I don't want to do any paperwork or follow up. Mm-hmm. That's not fun for me. And so when we think then am I in the right industry? Am I doing the right stuff? Am I really aligned? Because it's not fun, because I don't love every single minute of it. Then we start questioning it when the reality is especially as an entrepreneur, there's going to be some stuff that's not fun or sexy, and it's part of it.
Yep, 100%.
So I will throw in that perspective, perception is the key there.
Yep.
Where maybe I don't love, going and then doing all of the digital things that surround this, but I could put on my favorite music. I could put on, a funny show or whatever to have it in the background. And so then I'm like, how can I make this fun?
Yep.
If it's something I don't super enjoy, how can I make it fun? I know we're going to talk about that, finding the fun, which is something I'm very passionate about.
Here's another phrase I want to run by you. And what does the phrase mean to the contribution of success? At what point do we say to ourselves, this isn't fun anymore?
Oh, man. So right away, and just on a surface level, that brings up addictive reacting out for me, because there are things that were solutions at a time that then felt better, or at least felt numb and didn't feel terrible. And partying can be fun. All of these things can be fun, and then they stop being fun.
Yep.
And of course, with addiction and compulsion, the activity doesn't stop, however. But as soon as you say oh, this isn't fun anymore, where it's like something has shifted or turned in me, in my life, in the activity, in my self-knowledge, whatever. And that's a really important part to be able to analyze that and
100%.
Make shifts and or get the resources needed to be able to make those shifts.
There are people in a job, in the role of CEO, in the role of whatever leadership role, that I think we forget to say that phrase. This isn't fun anymore.
Ooh,
so I'll take the example of founder syndrome. When, let's say, for example, you found an organization, you created it, you discovered it, you go through the trials and tribulations. After 20 years of working the same organization, some people forget that they should have said the phrase, this isn't fun anymore, 10 years before they retire. Because fun is a relevant word to passion, excitement, motivation. Those are very commonly used. They have to be in the same pot.
Yeah.
When people forget that it's not fun anymore, why continue doing it? Why continue pursuing? There's always the argument of, well, people depending on me, or my family's depending on me, or I can't quit. This is not my competitive nature. Well, last time I checked, a competition is supposed to be fun, even if it's difficult to be in the competition in the first place. It's supposed to be fun because that brings you joy. And that always is a phrase that I don't think is standardized enough or used enough.
So kind of like losing touch with your roots on why you started the thing in the first place, whatever that passion was, whatever that energy was, and then you get caught in the day-to-day and the paperwork and all of that, and then you forget oh, wait a second, I came into this for a reason. This was important to me for a reason. And we used to do it in such a way where it was fun. And now it's not. What can we shift?
Yep.
Or is it time to step out?
Yep.
Sometimes that's part of it too.
Here's another phrase. Run this one by you.
Okay.
They're very applicable. I'm like, oh, this is phrase day.
I was going to say, we need a name for it. Phrase day.
Work hard, play hard. What are your thoughts on that one?
When it is used, it's usually in that order.
Work hard, play hard.
Then you get to play hard. And we have this notion in our society, at least, that fun or play is a reward you get after you've done the work. Like you can go out and play once your chores are done. And so we have fun in a different level than the work. Whether we're talking about actual work like we do here, or inner work when we talk about the work, right? That there are different things, and that one is more important, that the work is more important than the play and the fun. And that is wildly inaccurate on so many levels.
Yeah.
So I actually don't like that phrase. And I think it's missing rest well.
Yeah.
I think it's not a complete phrase.
Yeah. It's a really interesting topic or perspective for sure. I love that phrase. And I know there's always going to be times where we look at things like you're the yin and the yang. We're yin and yang, right? I get that. I love that phrase because specifically for entrepreneurs, we forget to play. It's more of the forget, not the reward for me. And we forget to play because we've earned so much. We've gone through some mental challenges to get to where we are. And it's all like, if it's all work and no play, it makes Jack a dull boy, dull boy, right? I've seen a lot of folks in my life constantly work and not be able to play and not be able to have fun. That to me, it's motivating. That motivation that gets you through the Sunday scaries, the Mondays, and the difficult week, the Wednesday as of the middle of the week. Like, it gets you through difficult times. So to me, that's a motivational piece. That's like, it's not a goal per se. It's a reminder. Like, please play once in a while. Please work hard and please contribute. And if you do play and if you do have fun, whether as long as it's not destructive, have a great time because life is too goddamn short. Life is way too much short.
A story on that. But for like, you're saying the same thing where it's like, you know, it's the motivation, like, oh, get through the tough week and all stuff. So once we do that, then we have fun. I'm talking about fun being part of every day because it's equally as important. So that's still a priority. Or like, why do we stop having fun? A lot of us, because we've put our value in work. We've prioritized it because we think we have to be contributing. We have to be productive all the time. That was me. I went through, and I saw this the other day. It was like, Happy Workaholics Day. And like, no, that's a very legitimate area of addiction and compulsion where all of your worth and value and your ability to get to exist is based in what you're producing and what you're contributing. I'm like, that's a legitimate thing. That was an area for me that was very dangerous.
Yeah.
Wildly unhealthy. And so it's like, but for me, if I wasn't producing something, if I wasn't being productive in some way, I didn't think I should be able to be alive.
Yeah.
Like it did not feel good.
It did not feel good.
At all. Like I got to a very unhealthy space where for me, like, and this sounds so silly, like I had to have fun. It was like a life or death situation. I needed to learn how to play as an adult. I actually had a friend who was super fun. We talked about different people on the team. And I honestly had to go to her and I was so embarrassed. And I had to go with humility and say, can you teach me how to play?
Oh.
As an adult. And she was just like, yep. Because she's like, I see you over there. Like, you need to calm down. You need to rest. And so I learned to juggle. Like, we started doing all kinds of things.
Oh, really?
Yes. Just to be, like, silly and just have something light.
Is this your playmate?
She was. We've lost touch, but she was so wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, as an adult, I honestly had to learn how to play.
Yeah.
And I had to redefine fun. Because the stuff that I was told was fun wasn't fun for me anymore.
Yeah.
And the stuff that we kind of see in society, like, I'm like, but I don't actually like that.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah, I get that. You know, I remember when I was in a relationship in my 20s and they said, what are your hobbies? It was, and it was a medical exam trying to make sure we're not destructive.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there going, I go to the casino and I hang out with my dude and that's it?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. I felt so pathetic because I didn't have a hobby or I didn't have something that I could do for fun or whatever that might be. I'm 36 now. Is that how old I am? I'm 36?
You are.
Okay, good.
For another 5 months?
Is that what it is? Okay,
so.
Thanks. I don't know when my birthday is until they post it on social media. But yeah, so I remember if I looked at myself at 26, what was I doing? Absolutely nothing. I was working, barely working, and that's it. Like, I was a workaholic. I felt like I had to define myself as a professional by working all the time.
Yep.
I think we've talked about that, right? You just did. And now I look at 36, like, what's the definition of fun for me? Sitting and watching a Marvel movie with my kid, even though we've seen Thor Ragnarok so many damn times, like, it was such a good time sitting on the couch and just, like, watching it together. And then, what was it? Playing golf, playing kickball, ballooning on the weekends. Traveling, I said, oh my God, I actually know how to have fun now.
Like, look at you with all the hobbies.
Yeah, it's a little too much, a little expensive, but that's okay. You know, that's why, but that's what I think what's really fascinating about this topic is that it's not exactly what you do. Like, we're not here to be like, hey, let's all go ballooning now. Like, that's not the case. It's a really good time to sit and ask yourself, like, when's the last time you had a moment where you said, this is pure joy for me?
Yeah.
You know, when this is pure joy. And I have to remind myself a lot. And I think a lot of my friends have to remind themselves a lot because they're so used to the grind.
And
right?
we're taught that is the most important thing, right? Like when you go, we go networking or whatever, they're going to ask, what do you do? They don't ask, what's really fun in your life right now? Like, what are you really excited about right now, right? Like,
but if you did ask somebody that, they'd be like, am I on a dating site?
I do ask people those things. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not walking up to someone and being like, what do you do? Like, give me your little spiel. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what's really fun in your week right now? What are you really looking forward to? And they do. They're like, I don't know how to end. I have my little and I do this and like, they're just like
the hidden camera.
No, but then they're kind of like, oh, cool, yeah, let's do this instead. Like, let's not. I just had that other conversation 16 times on what I do.
Oh yeah.
Or I'll say, what do you love about what you do?
Yeah.
Like, give me something else. I have these generic conversations like this. They're not fun for me. I don't want to do them, right? But I love what you're saying, like pausing down. It's so funny when I work with people around self-mastery, they will be willing to do the hardest things possible, going and looking at their trauma, doing inner child work, looking at their belief systems. You got it, we'll do it, sign it, no problem. When the fun component comes up, it is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you like how much pushback comes with the fun piece. One, because we're taught it's not important. And two, it's so uncomfortable. Literally, mentally, physically, and emotionally uncomfortable to go from that work, which we're in a chronic stress response, to pause. The internal chemistry gets totally thrown off. And then it's so uncomfortable. What do? Work. We go work. I remember, so you said in the last episode when you asked like what I was surprised about somebody commenting on for me, and I said when they told me I was fun.
Yeah.
I was at a point where I remember this so well. It was like a wake-up moment for me. It was 2015, 2016, and I was working a full-time job. I was in recovery full-time. I was starting a business, and I was producing a documentary.
My God.
Girl was busy. And I was dating someone. He literally would just come over at like 11 o'clock at night, and we'd hang out for 10 minutes and then go to sleep together. That was my fun, super cool relationship. That's all I had time for. And so at one point, he was like, this is not working for me. Shocker, right? I need time with you if this is going to be a relationship.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, 4th of July is coming up. I will take the whole day off.
How good did you do? How good did you do on that?
So, all right, I think he stayed over the night before, came over in the morning because we were going to have a whole day of stuff, right? I had so much anxiety from not working.
Oh, no.
I kept picking fights all morning until finally he left.
Oh, no.
And I immediately went to work. Yeah. And none of this was conscious, right? I can look back and he finally got super pissed. He left and so much relief came over me because then I could go jump back on my computer and work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh.
And like I had very few relationships in my life. Luckily, I had someone who would tell me like it is and then called me out on it.
Yeah.
And he was like, listen to the story you just told me. And like, and I was like, oh, I have a problem. Like this is a legit affecting my life in a big way problem. But the actual physical anxiety I felt from pausing and trying to have fun was overwhelming. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, there was a book. I will that moment, right? The oh shit moment, you know.
I gotta learn to juggle or something.
Yeah. Like not like physically learn how to juggle, not like life juggle.
I was juggling life.
Yeah.
I need to pick up some balls and actually get them in the air. Yeah.
The thought that I had in my head was when I first met Spencer, he had told me about a life situation, and he said, "I learned to stop giving a shit." And that really spoke to me because when he gave me that, I learned there was a book called The Art of Not
Giving a Fuck.
I actually haven't read the book. I wrote like the Cliff Notes version. Sure. And it really did help, right? It really did make a transformational move to say, I need to stop and smell the roses once in a while.
They literally made fun of me for that the other day when we were volunteering for Polly's Run.
Polly's Run, which is a fundraiser for pancreatic cancer research. They made fun of you because you stopped and smelled the roses?
We were going to our volunteer station and we're walking down the street and there were all these beautiful roses. And I'm like, so I stopped and they just started laughing. laughing. Ed and Julia, and they're laughing. They're like, "Are you literally stopping to smell the roses right now?" And I was like, "Yes."
Oh my God, I went
And then
there.
they teased me about it in the team meeting on Monday. They're like, "Get a hold of this. She actually stops to smell the roses." And I'm
my
like,
God.
"You've got to.
Yes, I would have. Where was I for this? Because I would have defended you and said that's not cool.
You would have been right there with me.
Oh my
Head in
God,
there."
I did the exact same thing. So we had a team retreat. Our team was much smaller back in 2016, and we went to San Diego. And Danielle looked at this beautiful birds of a what the hell's the name
Paradise.
of that? Yeah, birds of paradise. I'm all birds of a feather.
Baby flocking together. I'll tell you that. And that's all I know.
So we were okay. We have a lot of fun as a team. We were totally wasted.
Which is not a requirement for fun, by the way. Just someone put the disclaimer out there. It's not necessary.
We didn't eat, and we had we were the only people that would like to cook, and nobody brought enough shit for dinner. And then we started drinking, and that's when it all went down. And so she sees this birds of paradise, and she stops to smell it. I'm like, oh, this is fun. But I was like 2 sheets to the wind, so I pulled the damn flower out of the ground for her.
Oh my.
Because I said, this is great.
You gotta have this.
She
You gotta give this
she
to-
wants it, so I'm gonna be the good leader that I am. Drunkenly pull it out of the
Just
ground.
kill this thing quickly.
Left it in the freezer
Yeah.
up until the end of the trip.
There you go.
But we had so much fun, thinking about the fact that she wanted something, so I did my best.
Just do what you gotta do to make it happen.
So stupid. It's so stupid. But no, I can relate to the flowers, where. When was the last time? So here's a perfect example to kind of bring it all back together. When was the last time you actually looked at the sky and said, that was a really good one? I went to, I'm not a religious person. I just recently went through our wedding classes in the Catholic Church, right? And, being in touch with God is a big thing about it. And I thought about the moment where I said, at what points in my life do I actually talk to God? I believe in the Catholic faith. I believe in God. So I feel like this is relevant, right? And one of my bachelor's is actually at a Baptist university, and the preacher, the Baptist instructor, said, sometimes I look at the sunrise or I look at the sky and I see those rays of light. And when I see those rays of light, I say, that's a good one, God. So when was the last time we've ever said that and looked at the sky and said, that's pretty good?
I actually did that on Monday.
Right? That's
and
fun
we
for
live
me.
in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can't, the sunsets here are incredible. I've done a fair amount of traveling. Sorry, world. New Mexico is where it's at for the sunsets.
100%. Amen.
Yeah. And I realized I was seeing it, and I thought, and so my comment would be, well played, nature.
Yeah.
Well played. Or well done.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Capital N, nature, God, spirit, universe, goddess, whatever we want to call it. I'll say, well done, nature.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, I haven't seen a sunset in a while.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I was like, it was like mental note.
Yeah.
It's been over 100 degrees for I don't know how many days in a row. Girl is not outside at that often right now, which is a problem for me because a lot of my fun happens outside.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Monday I looked and I was like, okay.
All right.
I see you. Well done. And then I was like, all right, get out and look at more sunsets, Jace.
Yeah. I think, and some people think, fun is expensive sometimes, right? That's a conversation that a lot of people have. Or
Right.
fun has to be destructive.
Yeah. We have these
always,
silly.
Yeah.
These 6 things are fun. And my most fun is traveling. And I can't do that right now. I'm broke. And I'm like, that's it? That's your one?
Yeah.
That's all? And I'm like, do you know how many things I can come up with in 1 minute's time that could still relate to traveling and
my
cost
God.
no money?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's silly. So while we're talking about, how do you define fun or describe it? And how did you come to discover what is fun for you now at this stage in your life?
I think that, it does. I know that folks make a decision not to be in relationships. They want to be single. They want to be, themselves. They want to be independent. Some people say, I don't want to have kids. That's my choice. My son reminds me of fun all the time. He's in this age of, I'm a pissed off teenager.
Yeah. Also just known as a teenager.
Yep. He also is the reminder of fun for me because he sees things almost very purely, but also corrupted thanks to Reddit.
Cool. Thank you, Internet.
Thank you, Internet. And he reminds me of fun a lot. Like the joy. I remember one of my favorite pictures of him that was a perfect reminder of fun. It's on my Instagram, was when he found the sprinkler head in the backyard of my parents' house once. And he was like a little puppy in the middle, like, yeah. That's exactly
I
what
love
he did.
puppies with sprinklers.
Oh my God.
They can't figure it out.
They can't figure it out.
so
And that's
cute.
exactly what he did. He was just like, ha! And then the kid laughter, I died. And that was, I think, when he was like 2. That's when I said to myself, now I had a rough custody situation.
Right.
Him and we didn't get to raise him until he was 8 when Spencer came into my life. And he moved, my son had moved down. But when he started to be around, that was always the reminder of fun. Like going to class field trips was a big thing for me, like enjoying the fun element or seeing how happy he was whenever he would get something. Granted, he would like put it away or forget the fact that he had it in the first place.
Sure. But for that moment.
That the joy of a child reminds you of fun. 100, at least for me, it does.
Yeah. I love that.
So-
I try to be an adult that exemplifies fun to my nieces.
Yeah.
I'm really worried that they'll because we're busy and we're doing the things and, we're adulting and it's life. And, like, nobody's ever like, oh, I really adulted today. And I take that to mean they went to Hinkle Family Fun Center for laser tag, right? Like, adulting is like responsibilities and whatever.
Oh, my God. You took a team laser tag very
laser
seriously.
tag very seriously. I have that certificate of being number 1 at my desk. Thank you very much. I love laser tag. So I don't want them to think that adulthood is only work and that it becomes dreary and that it's dull. So I make sure I'm intentionally silly and playful around my nieces to the point of completely embarrassing them, but just owning it. Like the other day, we were right across the street at Trombino's, and I don't know how this started where we were walking as crabs on our way out.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because it's a ridiculous thing to do.
Yeah.
And they realized, so 1 is 7, 1 is 9. And then they became conscious of the fact that there were other people in the restaurant watching us walk like crabs and not in a fun way, right? Like, they're like, what are these people doing?
Yeah.
So they gave up. They didn't want to walk like crabs anymore because they felt like they were being judged.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And so as awkward as it was, and as long as it took to get out, I just continued walking like a crab the entire time. And then they started
Thank you for
giggling.
committing.
I'm like, I'm not going to give up now.
Yeah.
That'd be even weirder. And I'm like, just own it and be a crab and walk all the way
just
through.
like-
Yeah, just walk. Yeah. And then I'm like, I guess I'm not. Because I want them to see, like, being an adult, you can be silly, you can be playful.
Absolutely.
We're big on pranks in my family.
Ooh,
We're
Lord.
big on I love pranks.
Yeah.
And so we try to do that and show them, like,
Have fun.
it's fun. I dance, I sing. We were at Summerfest and just, like, being goofy and shaking it out and things like that. It's sad that we get to a point where we think, like, now we're not kids anymore. It's time to put away childish things. And, like, then you grow up, and growing up means no fun, right?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
As an adult, we have agency over our fun.
Yeah.
We actually get to choose what we want to have
Yeah.
as fun. We get to plan fun.
Uh-huh.
Like, adults is more fun
Yes.
when we let it be.
Yeah. I fear for the people that say getting older is scarier because, I'm like, no, the older and the wiser and the less fucks you give, of course it's going to be more fun for you to be older.
I've only gotten cooler.
Yeah.
And more fun. Yeah, I'm like, I'm loving myself now.
That's great.
Yeah,
No.
I was like, this is only getting better.
So there was actually a time, there still is a time right now where I actually encourage people to see me as me, which is a fun person.
Yeah.
Instead of professional Kristelle. So perfect example, the hot air ballooning community. Albuquerque. I know, right? You're like,
Immediately onesies. Like, I'm immediately picturing you
get it
in
right
a fuzzy
away.
onesie.
Yeah,
Yep.
because so the hot air ballooning community is huge in Albuquerque. It is the world's greatest ballooning community. Definitely.
We top a lot of charts, but usually in things like DUI and teen pregnancy.
Hot
So
air
let's do it.
balloons.
Hot air balloons, number
Hot air
one.
balloons, for sure. So
Yes.
those beautiful, fluffy federal aircrafts. So,
I'm a fluffy federal aircraft pilot. Like, that's how I'd like that described now.
so I started to go. I used to work for the public relations team that would help out at Balloon Fiesta many moons ago. And during the pandemic, I just decided, hey, I'm bored. The company's quiet, but it also is, it's just not
Rolling.
Yeah, it's rolling. So let me get into another craft. So I learned 2 major hobbies that added more fun in my life: golfing and hot air ballooning. Golfing definitely paid off on my relationship. Hot air ballooning, he wants nothing to do with it because you have to wake up really early in the morning.
But it's helped you develop other relationships.
Phenomenal
as well.
relationships. Yeah. So I did this very methodically. It was really funny. I said, if there's one community that doesn't know who I am, it's the hot air ballooning community. And I was right. Knew nobody.
Yeah.
Had no connections. Completely new community. Said, oh, this is even more exciting because I get to really push myself outside my comfort zone.
Love it.
I love to do that. And so I said, I'm going to have fun with this, especially since people don't really know who I am. So I walked in. I purposely didn't drive my Camaro. I have a 2014 Camaro, baby Camaro, like bottom tier, cheapest.
It's actually
one.
just a Hot Wheels that she has on her desk, and she calls it her Camaro.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah. So brought the Hot Wheels out, right? And I did not bring the Hot Wheels out. So I used my fiance's car, and just Subaru, right? And it's a perfect off-roading vehicle. Way better to chase in than a Camaro, anyways.
Absolutely.
So bring the Camaro out, and then t-shirts, jeans, like I normally dress. And then after a while, it's cold. I started wearing onesies out. And everybody's like, ha, it's Kristelle. She wears the onesies. They're like, who's Kristelle? They're like, the one who wears the onesies. Depending on who you ask around here, like, who's Kristelle? The CEO, the executive director, or whoever that is. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be known as the chick who wears the onesies when she cruises. My tail wags whenever the fan goes off, right? And then after a while, I'll never forget Balloon Fiesta last year. We got grounded, meaning we weren't able to fly because of a technicality. Albuquerque National Balloon Fiesta has over 500 balloons. And the fact that you can't fly during Balloon Fiesta sucks if you can't. Granted, there was like weird weather. So we're sitting there, and our pilot's pissed because of the reason why we couldn't fly. And then his son, who's the other pilot, was pissed because he couldn't fly. And I said, fuck it, we're going to have fun today. So Special Shapes Rodeo Day. And the Special Shapes Rodeo Day is where the funky shapes got to inflate, and it's the crowd pleaser, right? There always seems to be a crowd pleaser.
Love the bees.
But I said, why do Special Shapes have to be just the hot air balloons? You bet your ass. Kristelle was out there with a friend's shark costume, inflated with the little fan, and my friend was the T-Rex. We were Special Shapes ourselves that day. You know what the fucked up part was? Because I'm so little, I'm only 5 feet tall, people are like, oh, look, it's Baby Shark. And I was like, I was like, just because I'm short, you're calling me Baby Shark? Like, that's not nice. That was so much fun.
That is fun.
And you would never expect. And the nice part about it, too, is people are like, who is that? They're like, oh, it's Kristelle. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the ballooning community started to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
They were starting to realize, oh, she's got the connections to XYZ.
Everybody,
I really appreciate that people are associating me to fun.
Yeah.
In the hot air ballooning community, because they're associating me with that one chick that always wears the onesies.
Yeah. And like it's a more well-rounded piece of you. Because, you're really good at business. You're an incredible connector, and you have a weird ability to see into the truth of who someone is and then help like champion them into that within. Like, that was a statement. Okay. That is what I have witnessed you doing.
I appreciate it.
And those are awesome things. And you're going to be silly, and you're going to take us out to do laser tag, and you're going to like do all of those things because you're a full person, and that makes, in my mind, like more interesting. Like that's success when you can be that whole person.
You have a very good point. I appreciate that.
You're like, oh God, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you bring up something really, really great. And so I talk about finding the fun. And you went, okay, this situation got unfun really quickly. Where we had an idea of what we wanted.
Yeah.
We were pilots and we wanted to fly our balloons that we, put all this effort into. And then that didn't happen. A lot of people would just be very grumpy and just stay in that.
Oh, they were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even be in the victim mentality of like, this happened to us and blah, 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 blah. And now the rest of the day's ruined, right? Or the whole fiesta's ruined or whatever. When you went, nope, we came for fun. how can we shift to continue having fun?
Yeah.
So I always talk about like find the fun. How could this be more fun? Even if it already is fun, how could it be more fun? How could I say this in a way that is more fun for me? How can I interact in this, like a networking situation like I was talking about, like how could I do that in a way that's more fun for me? Well, what if I started asking different questions? What if I started and having that curiosity around fun specifically is an amazing way and a really easy way to bring fun into our day-to-day.
Yeah.
Where we don't have to wait for, I have this big trip coming up in October, so I'm going to have fun then. It's like, no, daily fun, weekly fun, big fun, planned fun, finding the fun.
Finding it even in the moment, right?
Always.
Like you brought up a really phenomenal point, and I think your gift is really recentering in the self-discovery work that you do, not only for yourself, but also for the people around you. As we say, climbing down the ladder after, being in that position. And I think what's really great about you is you use that as a way. There's a lot of people that are stuck in the definition of things, and you redefined it for yourself, for the people around you. Like you said, helping them really rediscover what that actually is. People don't have a guide like that in their life.
We do need more fun guides just to teach. And that sounds dumb, like to teach people to have fun, but we honestly need it.
Yes.
We need it. In America, we need a fun guide. Can we have that as another business? If you're interested in hiring a fun guide today, call the number on your screen.
info@siarza.net.
Yeah,
right
like
there.
that.
Yeah.
We do. And also to recognize, so we talk about, I love the brain. I love the body. I love how all of those things operate to have us be successful.
Yeah.
And the brain and body are often left out of the conversation around success as well. Guess where you're operating from is going to be real important. And those systems are designed to have fun and play incorporated, not just when we're young. Like we see animals out in the wild. Let's say a wildebeest gets chased by a lion and does not get eaten. What does it do? It jumps. It dances. It spins around. It plays.
I was like, I don't remember the last time I watched National Geographic.
Just go and watch your nearest wildebeest being chased by a lion.
Yeah.
They play.
Yeah.
Because it actually re-regulates the body so that we're moving into our rest and digest system instead of that stress one, which makes everything else work better.
Yeah.
And then we cut that out of our lives. And then it seems silly that we don't do those things. And instead we're just storing all of that stress, all of those emotions. And then they turn into disease.
Yeah.
They turn into illness. They turn into all of these different things within the body simply because we're not playing.
Yep.
It's super important. And we don't stop learning through play either, right? We get it. Like when you're kids, you incorporate play to learn. Yeah, that actually doesn't stop. Like, so we're not only making a less cool life by being just like, I work all the time and then, whatever. It's not just like fun is absolutely a crucial ingredient for success, thriving, health, and happiness, all the way down to how our cells respond to things.
It's a great way to wrap up. A very great way to talk about the future of how much fun this has been on Stories of Success and stuff. This has been so much fun to always put together. Thank you for an exceptional job of today's topic. And most importantly, thank you, the listener, the viewer, the supporter, and Mom. Thank you, Mom, for making this so fun for all of us here at Siarza to put together Stories and Success and stuff. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite streaming platform. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Thanks.